The recent arrival of dozens of U.S. F-35 Lightning II fighter jets and a U.S. Navy supercarrier in Subic Bay has captured worldwide attention and stirred deep emotions across the Philippines. Many Filipinos were taken by surprise, but the event symbolizes something much larger than just a military visit. It reflects the strengthening of a long-standing alliance, a growing commitment to peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific region, and a mutual desire to ensure freedom of navigation and national security in one of the world's most strategically important waterways. While the headlines emphasize the shock and awe of the arrival, the deeper message behind it is one of partnership, deterrence, and shared prosperity. To understand the importance of this development, we first need to see it not as an act of aggression or dominance, but as a calculated gesture of reassurance. The Philippines and the United States have been allies for decades, bound together by the Mutual Defense Treaty signed in 1951. This treaty ensures that both nations will come to each other as aid in case of external aggression. Over the years, however, the intensity of the alliance has fluctuated due to changing political climates and shifting global dynamics. The return of major U.S. assets like F-35 stealth fighters and a carrier strike group to Subic Bay represents a revitalization of this defense partnership, showing that both sides are serious about strengthening their cooperation. For the Philippines, this is not merely a show of American power, it's a clear message of support. The South China Sea, a vital maritime corridor, has been the center of disputes involving multiple countries, including the Philippines. Over recent years, there have been growing concerns about militarization in the region, as well as unauthorized activities within Philippine waters. The arrival of the U.S. fleet sends a diplomatic and defensive message that freedom of navigation must be respected, and that smaller nations like the Philippines will not be left isolated in the face of growing regional challenges. The F-35 Lightning II represents the cutting edge of military aviation technology. It's not just another fighter jet, it's a fifth-generation stealth aircraft equipped with advanced sensors, radar systems, and electronic warfare capabilities. When a fleet of these aircraft lands in a country's vicinity, it immediately alters the balance of power in that region. However, it's important to note that these jets are not here for confrontation, but for cooperation. Joint exercises, training programs, and interoperability drills with the Philippine Air Force are expected to enhance the Philippines' own defensive capabilities. This provides a unique opportunity for Filipino pilots and technicians to gain exposure to world-class technology and modern air combat strategies. The arrival of a U.S. supercarrier, one of the largest and most powerful naval vessels in the world, adds another layer of significance. A supercarrier is more than just a floating airbase. It's a symbol of logistical strength, technological achievement, and readiness to respond to humanitarian or security crises. Its presence in Subic Bay highlights the strategic importance of the Philippines within the Indo-Pacific region. For the local economy, this visit brings not only global attention but also economic benefits. Hundreds of sailors, officers, and personnel mean increased local spending, tourism, and engagement with Filipino communities. The ports, supply chains, and surrounding areas experience a boost that reflects the practical side of international cooperation. From a diplomatic standpoint, the move also strengthens the Philippines' position in regional dialogues. The government can now approach discussions on maritime issues with greater confidence, knowing that it has the backing of one of the world's most advanced militaries. This doesn't mean the Philippines is becoming dependent on the United States. Rather, it reflects a smart and balanced foreign policy that values partnerships based on mutual respect. Both countries understand that the ultimate goal is not war, but the prevention of war through deterrence and stability. Many observers note that the timing of this arrival coincides with rising tensions in the broader Indo-Pacific, where countries like China, Japan, Vietnam, and others continue to navigate territorial complexities. The Philippines, located at the crossroads of these dynamics, plays a pivotal role in maintaining peace. The Subic Bay presence demonstrates that the U.S. recognizes this importance and is willing to stand alongside its ally in preserving open seas and fair access to international trade routes. It's also important to understand the emotional aspect of this event for the Filipino people. For many older generations, Subic Bay carries historical significance. It was once home to one of the largest U.S. military bases outside America before it was closed in the early 1990s. The base closure was a moment of national pride and independence, But it also led to economic adjustments and a shift in the country's strategic posture. Now, decades later, the return of American forces on a temporary, cooperative basis symbolizes a new kind of relationship, one founded on equality, respect, and shared goals rather than dependency. The Philippine government and the Armed Forces of the Philippines AFP have repeatedly emphasized that the renewed military engagement is not about provocation, but about preparedness and peacekeeping. Joint exercises, humanitarian missions, and disaster response cooperation are some of the key areas where this alliance brings tangible benefits. The Philippines, being prone to typhoons, earthquakes, and volcanic activity, can greatly benefit from the logistical expertise and resources of the U.S. military during emergencies. The presence of these assets ensures faster responses to natural disasters and greater regional coordination. On a technological and educational level, the collaboration allows the Philippine military to learn from one of the most advanced defense forces in the world. Modern warfare requires not just weapons, but intelligence, coordination, and cyber capability. Through exchange programs, simulations, and shared defense technology, Filipino soldiers, sailors, and airmen can gain skills that will enhance the country's self-reliance and defensive posture. Furthermore, this event sends a strong signal to the international community that the Philippines values peace through strength. It is not about taking sides, but about ensuring that international laws and maritime boundaries are respected. The Philippines continues to advocate for diplomacy and dialogue, especially through ASEAN and the United Nations. But it also understands that peace must be supported by credible defense partnerships. There are also domestic implications worth noting. The renewed U.S. presence reinforces investor confidence, as stability and security are key components of economic growth. When foreign investors see that the country is well defended and supported by powerful allies, they are more likely to invest in industries, infrastructure, and innovation. Subic Bay, with its deep water ports and free port status, could once again become a major hub for trade, logistics, and development. The presence of allied forces may stimulate new infrastructure upgrades, improving local industries and creating jobs for thousands of Filipinos. Another layer of positivity comes from cultural exchange. Every time the U.S. military engages in exercises or port visits, it opens opportunities for friendship and understanding between Filipinos and Americans. Local businesses thrive, educational institutions engage in joint research, and youth programs are supported through community outreach initiatives. This human connection is what transforms a military partnership into a people-to-people relationship, fostering trust and goodwill. While some might initially react with shock or skepticism at the scale of the U.S. deployment, understanding the broader vision reveals that this is not an act of aggression, but of reassurance. The F-35s and the Supercarrier are tools of deterrence and symbols of commitment. Their presence is meant to remind everyone that the Indo-Pacific is not a region for coercion, but for cooperation, trade, and peace. The Philippines, as a democratic nation, values freedom, independence, and mutual respect among nations. By welcoming its longtime ally for joint exercises and security cooperation, it reinforces its stance as a responsible member of the international community. The event also shows that the world as major powers recognize the Philippines as a crucial strategic partner, not merely a small nation in a contested region. Looking at the bigger picture, this event aligns with the vision of an Indo-Pacific that is free, open, and secure for all nations. The U.S., Japan, Australia, and other partners in the region have emphasized that cooperation, transparency, and mutual defense are essential for long-term stability. The Philippines, by strengthening its alliance, is actively contributing to that vision. The psychological and symbolic value of seeing advanced aircraft like the F-35s soaring above Philippine skies cannot be understated. It signals a new era of capability, confidence, and cooperation. Filipino citizens can take pride in knowing that their country is part of a powerful network of nations committed to defending democracy, sovereignty, and the rule of law. In conclusion, while the arrival of dozens of F-35s in the U.S. Supercarrier in Subic Bay may have initially shocked many, the event carries overwhelmingly positive implications. It reinforces a historic alliance, enhances national defense, boosts economic and technological growth, and ensures that the Philippines continues to play a vital role in maintaining regional peace. Rather than a sign of tension, it's a reminder that peace is best preserved through unity, preparedness, and mutual respect. This moment will likely be remembered not just as a powerful display of military might, but as a turning point in Philippine-American relations, a renewed partnership grounded in equality, cooperation, and shared vision for a stable and prosperous future in the Indo-Pacific. The shock will fade, but the sense of security, partnership, and purpose it brings will endure for years to come.